While starting the topic redox reaction, let's talk the oxidation reaction. Oxidation reaction, it means that when a substance gain oxygen in a reaction, it is called oxidation reaction. And like an example of, we have copper with burn with oxygen using heat, we see that it has become copper oxide. Okay, so this is an example of oxidation reaction because the copper get oxidized into CuO. Means whenever a substance get oxygen, for example, let's take a case, let's say this is in using hypothetical way, okay, not in the using of a chemistry, but using a simple terminology like an analogy. So for example, we have a balloon, maybe okay, now for example, now it is in less air in it. When you give air by mouth or anything else, it gets its size and change, so it gain an oxygen, for example. This is an example of oxidation in simple way, okay, not in using chemistry, but using simple understanding what is how it is feel in real life, if you understand. Okay, let's talk about reduction. When we talk about a reduction means, for example, again we have CuO. Let's put in hydrogen gas on it. When we see that a hydrogen after getting it become to H2O plus copper, this in that case a substance reduce the oxygen, okay, means reduce the oxygen. So in this case become reduction reaction. Okay, for example, this is a part of reaction. But if you understand better now, for example, in this case we using a pin, safety pin, I thought in make a point a little bit hole on the balloon, and we see that after the hitting with the pen, the balloon size distorted and the oxygen releases, means it reduce the oxygen. For example, in the case of reduction reaction, like an, so when we talk about reduction reaction, this is the hypothetical case, not in real case. Okay, but if you understand reduction reaction, it means then when a particle is releasing oxygen is called reduction reaction, whatever I say. So this is the example of reduction reaction. Okay, and although we can say that in the reduction reaction the hydrogen is gained, because the hydrogen is gain, oxygen gain hydrogen, and in this case the oxidation reaction lose hydrogen. Okay, if we see some example where the hydrogen is losing, say in this case, okay, in reverse order. Okay, so copper lose oxygen and hydrogen lose oxygen, H2O lose hydrogen. Okay, this is an example of again the well-known reduction reaction. And let's talk about the redox reaction. When we talk about a redox reaction, it means that in a substance where oxidation, I am saying oxidation in oxy plus reduction, both are at same reaction, it's called redox reaction. For example, I have taken case of ZNO plus we use carbon, and then we say that the carbon get oxygen and ZN reduce. So in this case they reduce the oxygen, so it reduce reduction, and it gain the oxygen, it become oxidation. The reduction means, for example, if fat people reduce the weight, like in it reduce the fat, like for example hypothetical way, it is an also case of reduced reaction. Okay, because it is reduced, and gaining with fat becomes gained. Okay, oxidize. So it is example of it. Okay, and I hope you understand what I was saying. For oxidation, gaining the electron, or reduction, losing the oxygen, it's called the reduced reaction, and both occurs in a same reaction, that is in one get oxidized and second get reduced. It's called the reduction reaction. This is the oxidation plus reduction reaction is called that, both are the same reaction, is called redox reaction. I hope you understand. If you understand, like and subscribe. And one thing I give you some HW. The HW is regarding the redox reaction. If you understand, please relate in the real life. Okay, means own thought, make all at least 4 example using daily life. For example, I taken balloon, I taken fat whole example, like an example. It's not in this case, but better understanding what is the reduction and oxidation. So that's why use on example using real life. Okay, if you understand, like and subscribe. Bye bye.